Say, Dustin, so let me get this right. So when this guy came to you, this veteran, he'd already been denied by Veterans United, right?
Right.
And how did that first conversation go? What made you feel like, hey, I might be able to get this done? How did that go?
He didn't have much hope, but we took time to kind of listen, to his whole story, and we had him do the application. I said, well, let me dive into this. More importantly, we learned about him, his story. He was 100% service related disability with the VA, and he, sacrificed a lot for his country, and he had a couple medical emergencies with, his immediate family, wife and son,
Hmm.
that were pretty life changing, right?
Wow.
And once we kind of found out that story, I wanted to learn more. And when you kind of connect the trauma and the difficulty he went through with these medical issues in his close family, and look at timing on some of these things, they kind of lined up, right? So
Hmm.
we really wanted to focus on that, get a good idea, find the story, find the person, right? Not just the number, and
I want to stop you right there. Please do not lose your line of thought. But this is so heartwarming, Dustin, because it shows me that you're that loan officer who's not just looking at the FICO score and the credit history and going, all right, next. You pivoted, and I heard you say, find the story. That's so awesome because behind every damaged credit history, there's usually a story. And I love the fact that you went after the story, and I heard you say, find the person and find what happened, not just look at the score and the credit and go, ooh, that doesn't look too good. I'm on to the next one. I love that. Sorry, keep going.
right. Yeah, I 100% agree. And I see this a lot with a lot of veterans who, sacrificed everything for their country, and then, run into hard times here, and they're dismissed, right? And this was one of the cases with several other lenders that was, oh, you don't meet our box guidelines, right? Sorry, go find a credit repair and call us in a year. And that's
Mm.
kind of, he's like, I've already been told there's nothing you can do, but there's this incredible story of hardship that he had to go through,
Mm.
and it explains, hey, we're not all perfect. We're human beings. If I experience what he experienced, I'd go through the same type of hardship, right? So we put the story on paper through letters of explanation, and kind of brought that to underwriting, and
If,
they
if
agreed.
I may, if I may interject again, sorry to cut you off there for a second. Basically, looking at the credit report, and of course, I'm not going to show the credit report and anything, but looking at it, there were a bunch of collections going back a couple years, and then here more recently, within the last 12 months, the veteran had missed payments, and the FICO score had dropped to 578. That didn't phase you, huh?
When you take time to learn about the person, it's like, you almost feel obligated to help based off the hardships they went through. Like, hey,
Mm.
that's a pretty extenuating circumstance. Let's explain
Wow.
your story here, and we might get some leeway, and we did.
How was the dialogue with the underwriter, the VA underwriter? Because they're in a difficult position, right? They've got to answer to their investor that's funding the loan and ultimately the Department of VA. And yet here they've got to work with you, the loan originator that brings them business. How did that dialogue go with the underwriter?
I don't know. I guess it almost felt shaky at first, right? Hey,
Mm.
I'm seeing X, Y, and Z. We got to get, they gave me a laundry list of items we needed to put together, right? So,
Right.
but this client was very thankful that we were even fighting. So those documents, those letters, everything we needed came immediately, right? And on the
Oh,
lender
wow.
writer, you kind of almost change, right? Oh, wow, this guy's very responsible, getting us everything they need, and all these letters. Wow, they're starting to make sense, and kind
Mm-mm.
of tone changed to
Mm.
where, hey, I think we have something we can do here,
Mm.
and yeah, here we are with a funded loan.
In closing, what words of wisdom do you have for veterans and for real estate agents that are representing them on how to deal with this type of scenario? I dare say a lot of veterans are like, "Oh, dang, I'm not going to apply. My credit sucks. I don't stand a chance." They're kind of hiding in the shadows. What words of wisdom do you got for them?
Well, I mean, I guess my biggest words of wisdom was, well, first, every credit report, it's not just numbers; it tells a story. Our job isn't to judge the past. It's really just to document the truth,
Mm,
and
mm,
advocate for our client, who served our country. And the least we can do is serve them back, and really do our due diligence and try every possible avenue. And If you actually do that and serve, then you'll be pretty surprised at all the people who can actually help.
We appreciate the wisdom and hey guys, if you're watching this, Dustin's great loan officer down there in San Diego area. Of course, you cover the whole state, and hit him up. His contact information is on the screen. Dustin, thank you so much. Go get the next one.
All right, will do. Appreciate it, Charles.
Take care.
All right, bye.